Charlie Kirk was doing, one of his tours. Okay. And I don't know if you saw this on Twitter because it was like popping off a little bit, but a guy came up and basically was just like, when are we going to start murdering people? Like,
yeah, I saw that.
It's so awesome. Here, I'll send it to you right now.
And do you think they talk about that guy the way that they would talk about, like, in 2017, like a really active DSA person, where it's like, hey, he's like out there being an activist, he's an organizer, like, fuck you. Like,
I just like,
because that's his form of organizing, is just like going to TPUSA and being like, when can we kill Jewish people?
well, I mean, he didn't specifically say Jewish
he didn't say
people.
Jewish people. I don't know. I'm being glib.
But he said something along those lines. Let's.
I want to hear it before I start judging him. I don't want to like.
It's only 24 seconds. There's a longer video with Charlie Kirk's response to it too, which I should have sent, but I didn't. But let's watch this real quick.
We get a look at this guy. I think I can see what's in his soul.
Fascism. This is tyranny. When do we get to use the guns? No, and I'm not. That's not a joke. I'm
People
not
are
saying
clapping.
Like that. I mean, literally, where's the line? How many elections are they going to steal before we kill these people?
So no.
Okay, that's not okay. I see what's in his heart.
No, stop. Hold on. Now I'm going to denounce that. I'm going to tell you why. Because you're playing into all their plans, and they're trying to make you do this.
So there's a longer video here. Sorry,
I don't think that guy's like a kill the Jews guy, because he's saying, like, he's like, they're doing fascism to us.
Yeah,
he's like one of those guys.
He wants to kill them. Well, I mean, the kill the Jews guys say that too, though. They say like this is
not anymore. Not since like 2016. They've always been like, no, we're fascist.
Yeah,
is like,
I mean, those numbers have withered away though. Like that's like.
Unite the Right was bad for them.
Yeah, it really did.
Yeah. It got too real for too many people. But like that guy though, I'm just like looking into that guy's heart, like looking into his eyes. I just think he's like, what are his policy beliefs? It's probably just like stupid, like Republican stuff. Like he loves the Trump tax bill and all this shit. But he's just, I don't know. Maybe he read one of those threads about ADD and he's like, oh, I need to take Adderall. And it made him go from voting to like, we need to kill these people.
Yeah, it's just like we're arming ourselves. Wait,
he just doesn't seem like a Black Sun guy. You know what I mean? Like
no. I don't think he is. But like functionally, there were like that guy's worldview. See, this is the thing about the Republican Party, though. Like, obviously, every American has like inherently contradictory beliefs that they hold onto, and they like believe them equally. As, like. You see a lot of the QAnon people advocating against like big corporations and whatnot, but like the only manifestation of that anger comes out with like Facebook big tech censorship because their grandmother got banned for spreading QAnon or COVID conspiracies or whatever, and it's never about like their anger towards big pharma, albeit justifiable and understandable, only is expressed when they're like. They're hiding the truth about ivermectin. Like, right. It's actually Nobel Prize winning medicine. Okay. So we're fucking lobotomies. But, and you see that with guys like this, but functionally, I think in that dude's worldview, if you're like a regular conservative guy in America, which is already like a super conservative country in many ways, and then weirdly socially progressive in others, like there's not all that like he doesn't have the theory behind it, but like ultimately what's all that different in the way that he sees the world?
I mean, I really think the difference is action though, right?
Yeah.
I don't think that's a small distinction. I don't know. I just like, it's like, yeah, in his beliefs, like, sure, there's something like whatever you want to call it, it's in there for sure. But I just like, I don't know. I never liked the idea. I think for sure you can find millions of people in this country who kind of like, they'd be like do you remember the scene from Band of Brothers where they're going to the dude's bakery and they're like, you knew the Holocaust was happening basically. And they like put the fucking 1911 in his face and it's sort of ambiguous. The show isn't directly telling you whether he did or didn't, but it's something you're supposed to think about and like probably think like, oh, would I be that guy who is just happily baking pastries with
these are the guys
Birkenau down the road? I I think a lot of Americans are like that, and you can see it when you go on a local news Facebook, and it's some shit like, a guy like stealing shit from people's cars. They're like, oh, we should cut his fucking head off.
Yeah.
They're like they're saying ISIS shit, but I think that's a lot of people because there are a lot of people in this country. I just don't like the perspective of, like 40% of this country would like work in a guard tower. Because I don't really think it's true. I think it's sort of like a flattening of how Americans behave on the whole. And B, I don't know, like, okay, say you accept that. Okay, like then what? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like I see people say that. I know people who are like, they were third world this or the shit like that. I guess that's a different thing than this is, but they're like, oh yeah, like most of the country is fascist. And it's like, okay, like it's fine to believe that. And
No, I think fascism, when you talk about it, the point I was trying to make is that like these guys are ripe for radicalization, but like reading theory, whether it be dialectical materialism or like fascist works or whatever, is nerd shit. So they don't have like the actual background to like, and maybe that's a good thing in this situation, but they don't actually have like the moral grounding to like completely create like an elaborate worldview out of.
Yeah.
They just like, it's like a mishmash of different kinds of ideas that they've learned throughout their experiences, and most importantly through television.
Exactly.
And so that's how you create a guy who's just like, yeah, what's up? Like, when do we start killing these motherfuckers?
Right. And
like,
it's
why do you keep telling us that they're stealing these elections and then we can't do anything about it?
Right. It's the logical conclusion that like a guy like that, just like a sort of like regular stupid guy would think, right? If you're like, oh, they've stolen all the elections, the logical thing you're supposed to think is like, oh, we have to kill them. Because like, yeah, if they're telling you they're stealing the elections, you wouldn't go, oh, we have to vote harder.
Well,
even though that's kind of like what they want those guys to think. They don't really want this guy to do that. I mean, they're like fine with it, I guess.
And that is exactly what the Democrats do as well, where they're like, January 6th insurrection, it's a terrorist act, it's like worse than 9/11 or it's comparable to 9/11, blah, blah, blah. And then they turn around and they're like, and that's precisely why we have to make sure that these guys who literally played a role like in Congress and like helped plan this attack against our democracy, we have to concede and make sure that we find a reasonable compromise on like increasing the corporate
It's completely logically inconsistent.
And it's like, well, okay, why are we doing that?
Right.
Like they literally did this with like Joe Manchin.
Expel them from the house if that's the case?
Yeah, it's like you can't have both of those ideas at the same time. Some people are finally going to recognize that there's a cognitive dissonance there that they can't engage with anymore. After a while, they're like, wait a minute, like, are these guys terrorists? If that's the case, then why the fuck are we compromising on like voter ID measures in a bill that's not even going to pass Congress because like not a single Republican is going to vote on it? But like Joe Manchin is now like the voice of like the conservative caucus or the Republicans in the Senate, and he's speaking for them, and we're compromising with Joe Manchin at the behest of the Republican Party that won't even vote for this thing. And you start seeing that. And I don't know. I don't think people wake up to the reality that it's just like there's a lot of bipartisanship when it comes to a lack of action in this country.
Right. I think in both cases, it's, a mostly conscious decision by people above them, above the rank and file voter, where it's like, hey, the pie is shrinking. Like in the Republicans' case, they're thinking like fucking clock's running out on this specific national project, how we can keep it this way. We can obviously change it and alter it and maybe try to get some wiggle room like they did in 2020 with changing, like sort of expanding their voter base in some areas while it contracted in others. But everyone is kind of thinking the same thing, and the Democrats are same line of thinking, if not for the exact same reasons. Shrinking pie, things are definitely, standard of living is going to go. It's going to be on a downswing. Dream may be over. How do we get like enough people to get into this shit. Because if no one's into it, then there's just no legitimacy. It's a crisis. But if you can keep the same amount of people who are always into it, you either tell them like, yeah, every election is stolen by like illegal immigrants brought in by gruesome Gavin, and like, I want to get you to the point of saying that you want to kill these people without actually doing it. Or, you know, in the Democratic case, it's like, we're going to make the rank and file, like, we're going to make them like war on terror fans.
Yeah.
You know, over like half of Democrats used to think that we didn't know the official story with 9/11.
I do remember, yes.
Yeah.
Democrats used to be fucking kind of cool in comparison to now. Like there were a lot of 9/11 truther Democrats out there.
Yeah, there were
Mark
a lot.
Ruffalo was kind of one of them.
There used to be cool actor Democrats.
Yeah,
That's
that too.
Certainly not the case anymore.
Yeah.
But like, I think people like accuse me of being too soft on just like regular stupid people who are like, oh, I want to like kill Hillary. You know? But like, but it's like, I feel the same thing towards regular Democrats who are like, I love the CIA. I feel the exact same thing, which is like, okay, yeah, no, they're saying or they're believing a bad thing, but it's like, they're like, they're people who bought a fucking season ticket pass to the Buffalo Bills. What do you want me to say? Like, yeah, they shouldn't believe that. They shouldn't say that. But at the same time, for a lot of them, I feel like they sort of got rooked into this. There's like a sunk cost thing where it's like, I can't stop caring about this. It was the thing that they now believe was a conscious choice by someone way more evil above them, who's like, this is how we keep people engaged with it. So on the Democratic side, it's like, yeah, no, there's like half of Americans want to kill you, and there's going to be a terrorist attack every day by Trump people. And yeah, when people post those polls of Democrats that are like, oh, like 70% of them have a positive opinion of the FBI or whatever, I'm not like mad at those people. You know what I mean?
I mean,
It's
they've
like,
been duped.
That's not really their fault.
They've been duped.
Yeah.
The FBI is woke now. So is the CIA. The
I just don't
CIA
want-
is diverse. FBI is diverse. They're getting, anxiety attacks. They have imposter syndrome. They have the Havana syndrome.
Well, they should have had someone in that CIA video if they really wanted to be inclusive of like, it's like a white pillhead. That would have been cool if they just had like a guy who's like, oh, I get to work at the CIA every day by like lying about a bus ticket that I need. It's just like taking Opanas, and it's like, okay, then we really do have every type of American.
It's a true diversity of ideas and representation. Including white pillheads.
No, people make fun of me for like thinking pillhead stuff is funny, but it's like half of my friends like is growing up. But,
so you want to let's Travis, you can push all to Charlie Kirk's response here. It's like it's like once the camera pans back to him, and then we can start off from that point.
Yeah, I want to see this.
He's done with the bloody revolution rhetoric. I mean, this is the same as like, comrade, when is the Vanguard being funded? But like on the right, you know what I mean?
Well, do they call each other feds sometimes too, right?
Yeah. They say glowies and like fed posting, shit like that.
Yeah.
Before we kill these people.
So
I love that. It hits.
Now I'm going to denounce that. I'm going to tell you why. Because you're playing into all their plans.
Yeah, this is their plan.
That's okay. Just hear me out.
Not like you're doing exactly what we told you to.
They are trying to provoke you and everyone here. They are trying to make you do something that will be violent, that will justify a takeover of your freedoms and liberties, the likes of which we have never
Wait, pause for a second.
Close.
Oh my God. I'm sorry, but like, you know how Democrats are always like, this is the most important election of our life.
Yeah.
That's it. He's doing it. No, this is right before the biggest takeover of liberties we've ever seen, even though the last one was.
Republicans have always done that too.
Yeah.
No,
everyone has the same playbook. Yeah.
So what I love about this though is that like the big 5D chess play from like the Democratic Party is that, their internal conflict on like a $3.5 trillion infrastructure spending plan versus like a $6 trillion one, which is now watered down to like a $1.75 trillion one, and the endless back and forth between like Kirsten Sinema and the rest of the Democratic Party. which is, completely in line with her position on most of these things. They're just not as outwardly, annoying about it.
Yeah.
All of that is actually, so that they can bring in illegal immigrants secretly that vote, so you get triggered into doing something violent.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's not what Charlie's saying. It's not what Fox News says every night. It's not what like Tucker Carlson going on the broadcast and being like, these are vermin. They're vermin. They're dirty. The undocumented citizens, they're coming in, they're bringing COVID, and they're, stealing your jobs and killing your neighbors. It's actually the Democrats and their endless pontifications on the debt ceiling and why we can't really raise it, but we kind of should, or their budget talks. That's how they're doing it.
Yeah.
I'm saying it, dude.